Hey YouTube, Untamed here. Behind me I have a brand new 2024 Nissan Frontier Pro4X. Today, I'm actually having the opportunity to get behind the wheel and get a good feel for what this Frontier is all about. When it comes to the price, it makes a lot more sense compared to the Toyota Tacoma. Nowadays, that Tacoma, on average, will cost over $50,000, and it forces you to have a turbocharged four-cylinder. And for a lot of people trying to buy a mid-sized pickup truck, that's a big no thank you. So join with me today as we check this Nissan Frontier Pro4X out. So let's start with the color. Very similar to Army Green of Toyota. This is Tactical Green out of Nissan here. We have a couple other options right next to it, also Pro4Xs. But this one here, we're gonna dissect the details of. This is actually my first time that I've actually gotten behind the wheel and got a good feel for it. And I gotta tell you guys, I'm pretty impressed. And the more I look into this Nissan Frontier, the more I like it, and more I would truly consider buying it over that Toyota Tacoma, especially that 2024 here. So let's look at the window sticker, and then we'll walk around it. I'll kind of highlight some of the details as we do so. So for starters, that price tag, this is technically the highest trim level of the Frontier, the Pro4X. And well, we're kind of capping out right around that $45,000 price tag. It is very common to go to any Nissan dealership. By the way, shout out to Holiday Nissan here in Cheyenne, Wyoming for letting me check this out for the record. If you're interested in this one, a few others, they're here. Generally speaking, most Nissan dealerships would be pretty quick to drop the price 10 to 15%. That's pretty common. You know, Nissan corporate even sent a memorandum to each of their dealerships suggesting and encouraging them to do that to move inventory. So, you know, pretend you can get this for $40,000-ish. That makes it feel like a pretty good buy when you look at all these factors. You can check out some of the performance information here. That 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6. That's what we used to have in that Tacoma, right? I mean, we used to have a 3.6 liter naturally aspirated V6, whereas now, you know, this is what we get. Now over there in the Tacoma, you get a 2.4 liter turbocharged platform, and that is no bueno, in my opinion. But 310 horsepower, plenty of torque, 281 torque out of the 9-speed automatic transmission here. So plenty cool and plenty power for what you're buying. And a lot of people buying a mid-sized pickup truck, they're okay with that. They're okay with 19 miles to the gallon. Sure, could you benefit from a few more? Yes, but not bad whatsoever. That four-cylinder Tacoma only cranks out 21 horsepower. So 21 miles to the gallon. So barely better when it comes to fuel economy. So let's look at some of the details. I'll stop kind of blabbing about that window sticker here. Let me know what you guys think of these headlights. They've grown on me. Nissan did a huge upgrade when it comes to the actual appearance of the Nissan Frontier here. You know, the previous generation, I believe it was 2018, I believe 2019. And then they updated it to this look in 2020, and it was long overdue, let's face it, but they still kept simplicity at its core, I would argue, all throughout this, in and out. But I like the front end. I think it looks good, and I think it'll age well, in my personal opinion. Show you underneath. Got some tow hooks. The Toyota Tundra could take a note out of that book. Got a little bit of a skid plate up front. Bilstein shocks all throughout. I like the wheels. Pretty nice. Wrapped in some hand-cooked tires. ATWs, or AT2, excuse me. The size 265/70/17, so 17-inch wheels there. One thing that was a surprise to me, I'll show you hopefully when the sun comes out a little bit better, but there is a metallic flake to the Tactical Green here. Your Pro4X decal out back. And Frontier embossed across the tailgate here with the Pro4X badge on the side. I can maybe do without the red accents here in the Nissan badge. Kind of a personal preference there, but doesn't look bad by any means. What do you think of the tail lights? Some pretty standard running boards there. If you're going to take this off-roading at all, you'd likely take those off before you rip them off on the trail. Show you underneath. Got a single side exit here at the passenger side. Better look at those Bilstein shocks, suspension up back. Pro4X on the mud flaps. So let's check it out. Let's look at the passenger side, and I'll pop over to the driver's side and we'll start it up here. We have a 9-inch infotainment here in the center. So you're not going to be blown away, right? This isn't, there's not a whole lot going on in here, but for me personally, I think that really adds to the appeal of it. And you guys tell me if you agree, but I've always appreciated just simplicity with my Toyotas, and they've distanced themselves from that. So cloth seats, Pro4X, stitched in the middle there. I think they look good. Now, admittedly, when you feel the cloth, this material, you feel it. And after having felt the Land Cruiser 1958 edition cloth interior, this does feel a bit cheaper, right? This feels chintzy by comparison, if I'm being honest with you guys, compared to the cloth interior in that 1958 edition anyway. The 1958 edition, it just feels pretty rugged and like it's going to age extremely well. Some red stitching up here on the dash, hard plastic right here, gloss black. I could do without the piano gloss black, but it doesn't look bad, and there's not a whole lot of it, with the exception of right here, right? Gear selection there. A little bit more of a rubberized material for the center armrest. Pretty standard center console anyway. Standard over here. I do appreciate the little grab handles here. Nice little reddish orange accenting here to include the stitching, matching throughout. 2 cup holders. Here's a key fob, get an idea what that looks like. I think Nissan has been using the same exact Nissan key fob throughout the last 25 years, but again, you're not buying this for the key fob. A little bit of a cargo tray up there. Passenger grab handle, not on the driver's side, something to note. There's a look at that door card. A little bit of kind of faux, maybe real carbon fiber accenting here with the orange reddish surround there. Here's a look at the back seat. This is, believe it or not, it is better than the Tacoma. The Tacoma, especially the 2024, the transition from the 3rd generation Tacoma to the 4th generation here in 24, it even took some more legroom away from an already pretty tight space out back in that 3rd gen. So this is better when it comes to legroom out back anyway compared to the 2024 Toyota Tacoma. Grab handles on both sides out back anyway. In a rear sliding window across. Black headliner, which is always worth noting because sometimes they extra cheap out and throw up tan headliner. This one does not have a bed liner out back, nor does it have a sunroof. But if you ask anybody who is off-roading on a regular basis, they will generally opt to not have a sunroof. Tell me what you guys think of the color difference between the tactical green and this one here. Definitely love that. Driver's side gas cap. Let's get behind the wheel and start it up. Here's your rubberized floor mats. Comfortable seats. Push to start. Give you a better view. So a center digital display anyway with 2 analogs on the side, similar to what we found with the previous generation 3rd gen Tacoma before it went full digital. Again, 9-inch infotainment here. I haven't actually tinkered with this too much, so I can't give you an honest assessment, but I do appreciate that it does have a volume knob and tuning knob. Always appreciate that. Same goes for the climate controls, right? Pretty simplistic down here. Fan speed, all the adjustments are pretty intuitive and easy to use without too much homework, right? Here's your, if you're gonna go 4 high, 4 low, your transfer case. Yeah, I prefer a manual transfer case, kind of like what you find in the 5th generation 4Runner, but that's just not the way it is anymore, right? That's almost too archaic for most people. So that's the best you're gonna get nowadays. So that's what you have there. More cargo up front, a little bit of a rubberized feeling up there. Some metal trim accents here in the gear selector there. Otherwise, pretty bare bones in here, guys, and I like it. I like it. A little bit of a dip down there for the side view out the passenger or out your windows, up front anyway. I don't know. I think it is a good spot to be. And when you're spending 40 grand-ish, assuming you can get your discount on it and a good interest rate through Nissan, it just feels like you're getting much more bang for your buck, right? I just have a hard time justifying that Toyota tax nowadays when they're building them entirely out of Mexico and forcing you to pay over 50 grand for mediocre trims. So I'll wrap up the video there, guys. I just wanted to geek out with you on the Nissan Frontier here. We'll schedule another day for me to do a full up test drive review for you guys if you're interested in checking that out. I do have another YouTube channel called Untamed Reviews where I dissect them a lot more in depth. A lot more in depth reviews, all vehicles, not just Toyotas, not just Nissans, where I really try to diversify the content. So feel free to check that channel out if you want to see something a little bit more than what you get from Untamed Motors here when it comes to diversified content. So wrap up the video there. Let me know what your thoughts are. As always, I sincerely appreciate you taking time to watch. If you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a lot. Until next time.